Thanks a lot. Dear colleagues, on behalf of the Minister of Revolutionary Armed Forces of Republic of Cuba, I sincerely thank the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation for cordial invitation to take part in this international conference where we are for the first time. And the topic for the first time at such conferences, we hear Spanish language in my headphones, and for the first time, this is a Latin American Spanish language. For the first time, organization of the work of this conference shows that that military of many countries are in favor of peace and security all over the world, and we try so as to avoid such deadly event as war. And after the end of so-called Cold War, and after the end of era of standoff of two world systems, international imperialism once again went back to previous forms of work and went back to principles of geopolitics, cycle of which started in 11th September 2001, and it gave birth to such forms of violence, although they were known in the history, but never became permanent political practice. To suppress all societies adhering to other opinions, use of military force in the form of large organizations, large operations of invasion, suppression of peoples with force of arms, and this means that there are forces which consider to have right fighting with those who do not follow their interests. And now we speak about color revolutions because this is quite colorful term, but we need to remember that is in the course of the doctrine developed by Pentagon by the end of the large age. Color revolution is what represent to the attention of the world society so as to make something more understandable, and hybrid war appears, non-standard war, and many other similar notions. This doctrine in the frame is brought to the rank of state policy in the interest of those who conducted. It was titled to be the authors and fulfillers and non-classical war. And since there is a large number of documents, but I'm willing to mention two of them: circular on training DC 1801, published in 2001, and guidelines DC 3/45. Both documents were signed by the head of Chief of Staffs of the United Nations. I am willing to read this, and this will be very interesting. We may find little analogs between obvious content of these guidelines and what is happening now in countries of the Latin America and Caribbean, such as Venezuela, and other continents, in particular Libya, Syria, and Ukraine. And these documents describe methods for implementation of complex operation aimed at increasing political, psychological, economical, and other manifestations for the benefit of certain country, thus to divide the population into groups of interest, and so as to prepare ideological new leaders, and so as to make favorable conditions for propaganda, for conduct psychological war, for boycott and sabotage. And all this anticipates application of difficult technologies for undermining governments. Cuba considered necessary to take a world meeting to discuss methods which are used during the war, such war, and the purposes which are given for such doctrines, and also global espionage over the governments and society. For the international arena, we see disclosure of so-called cyber war, and take into account growing threat for security of the countries. Cuba stresses especially the importance of international cooperation, and we consider this is the only real possibility to defeat cyber attacks, to mitigate consequences, and start using also legal forces, using increasing capabilities which are given by cyberspace to development and well-being of the society and mankind. But may government of U.S. warranty that use of non-traditional concepts is not direct aggression and threat to regional stability? What should be the role of global regional political mechanisms in this reality? And take into account need to be supported by military institutions. As it is known, Cuba has been the subject of such aggression after victory of Socialist Revolution January the 1st, 1959, which may manifest with all historical strictness. We have, in such way, we have experience of fight, out of which, after half a century, we came out being the winners. Today, coming to different methods, they tried to violate internal order in Cuba, government of which is supported by overwhelming majority of the population. In January 2014, all heads of governments and states of the Western Hemisphere, with exclusion of US and Canada, united into a society of countries of Latin America and Caribbean, signed in Havana agreement according to which Latin America and Caribbean is a peace zone, and aims and principles of the agreement correspond to United Nations Charter and international law, demonstrating understanding that flourishing and stability of our region will help peace and international security, and reflect our wish to solve all disputes arising between countries peacefully through dialogue and negotiation, and using other means in full conformity with international law. Countries of the region strictly fulfill their obligation not to interfere neither directly nor indirectly into internal affairs. Remember about principles in national sovereignty and rights of for self-determination, and also assisting the friendly relations and right of to any country to select appropriate political, economical system so as to provide peaceful existence of different countries. This is the main essence of sovereign position policy, according to the topic which we discuss during this section. On basis of principles, Cuba is ready to cooperate with any country in the favor of peace, security, and stability, as has been mentioned, as we did during agreement to reach a peace in Colombia, the most old conflict in our continent. It would be meaningless to speak about security if we are not able to look realistically on this event. Thank you a lot.